Now you might remember a year ago I released a video where it kind of aimed towards the people just starting a new school. Now, as I've got a little bit wiser on experience and everything there, this video is going to explore 10 really good and quite personal tips you should do in school, whether you start in a new school, in the middle of your school, or in the exam period. So here is 10 school tips which hopefully you take on board. Here it is. Number 1 is know the layout. Now when I say know your layout, you probably think to relate this to a new kid. And most importantly it is. It's brilliant to know. You're faced with a massive school in front of you. And 9 times out of 10 you might not have a map, but you have all your timetable and you've got no idea where the rooms are. Make sure you follow and locate these rooms in your spare time, because there's nothing, you know, it gets after a while where you might get in trouble for being late because you can't find the room. But don't worry, it may look like a big challenge, but it does get easy after a week to 2 weeks after knowing where these lessons are. So don't worry for that. Also, for most people, when starting a new school in general, just remember your layout. But the most important thing for me, because I've been at school 5 years, you still need to locate what rooms you're in at when. And the biggest way you learn is by your routes to and from lessons. These you get to know, you get used to the crowds in the school. It all comes in, don't you worry. Just prepare to know your layouts. It's very simple and it is really good to know, you know, because once you know it, you know it. Let's go next. Number 2, don't revise, prepare. Now this is one of them inspirational assemblies, but this is very good to change your mindset over revising. Now revising has always been a negative sounding word. You know, an exam or test is coming up, again applying to anyone, but mainly those doing exams, you know you have to revise. And you think, oh god, years, months, weeks, hours of just reading books, doing work at home. Don't think of it as revision. In fact, think of it as preparation. Now, preparation sounds more positive. It feels like you're enthusiastic about it. And I know it sounds a bit geeky here, but think about it. Do you want to prepare for your exam to get good marks? Yes, you do. Preparing at home, you don't have to just read textbooks. And this is kind of going off on a tangent, but still, you know, you don't have to. Find websites, find games, past papers. All of them are brilliant. And if you do want links to different past papers or ideas, again, please comment them down below, because I'm happy to guess, because I'm going through all this revision process. But yeah, think of it as preparation. Preparing for your exam. You want to prepare. Get your timings right. Get your ideas straight. It sounds a bit more fun if you're preparing. And kind of don't think of it as a task to do. Think of it as something to help your life. I always say, when you're faced with leisure and you're faced with like preparing, leisure will always go on. You will always have leisure to the day you die. Preparing for the exam. That exam is coming and you cannot do it again. Do that first and you get leisure before, after. But anyway, there's me. That's a tip for 2 minutes of your time, but there you go. Always think of it as preparing, not revising. Number 3 is planning your working life and leisure life. Now this greatly links to the last one, scheduling your working life with your leisure time. As said, always think of it, leisure time is always there. It will always be there in your life as long as you have it. You can either make leisure life, make the reason you do revision or preparation. I'm going to refer to it as preparation right now. Do it and time yourself, and then think, I'll do some leisure activities after. Now, I'm going to get you stopping there. I'm not saying stop all leisure life. Please no, because this is what really gets people stressed. And stress is something you need to avoid straight away. Don't go stressing over exams, because really, they're not... Now, don't take my word. They're not as important as teachers make out. Yes, they're bloody important, but they're not life-threatening. If you do bad on it, you can wear that up with experience. And that's linking to another point later. But leisure life, you want to make a balance. You don't want to stress yourself out with the preparation. You want to balance that with leisure, but don't take over with leisure. This is the balance. And too much leisure, it drags your knowledge down of the test, and you do worse in the test. So balance your life out. And again, that's linking to another thing. In fact, no, schedule your working life with leisure life as well. It's quite evident that I do it. Now, I know you can't see it clearly, but this up here, so I'm just trying to track my hand. This is actually a timetable for when I'm doing revision for certain lessons. It's good, and you can come up with a fun way of doing it. Again, please make sure, contact what do you do, all that in the comments. Let's go to the next point. Number 4, try and add additional work. Try add additional work. Now this may sound like the most geeky thing ever, however this is really to kind of get you to the top of the class. Now don't you just hate it if you're in a class and everyone's better, or you're probably a middle average? Do you want to be called average? No. You could do work at home. Now again, a bit of a balancing. This will really help with when it comes to preparation. If you're new to a school or in the middle, this is more for the middle year. Try and do it. If you're stuck on a question, stuck on anything, do some additional work. You've got the internet, textbooks, teachers, and your friends as well. Now, it might not be the most ideal things to talk about with friends, but you know, there they are. All of them are there, and it's good to really prepare for the preparation. Now, that might sound weird, but it really does help in later life. Just keep thinking about that, because me, I didn't do as much additional work at home. But you know, revising, it really helps you in the lessons. And, you know, it just makes your life easier at school and a bit more funner. If fun as well? Yeah, fun as well. Trust me. Number 5 is work experience. Now, this is a little different to most of them. Get some work experience. Now, I've been doing all these careers, you know, as picking colleges. Experience is always what they work for. Now, there's a statistic what is very hidden away, what teachers don't like saying. It's better to get work experience than the biggest grades. Then big employers, when you leave school, they look for work experience, not for the biggest grades. This is something you need to really think about. Now, I'm not saying ditch all your work and go working. Please, no. You want to do good in the exams, but you also want to back up and show you're the best person. You want work experience. Now, this is by doing certain jobs around the school, what could put on your CV, or maybe getting a Saturday job if you are old enough. Now, I'm talking more about when you're used to school and going up to this preparation of exams. Me currently, I know you won't be surprised, but I am actually the librarian at my school. The oldest student librarian, may I say, because I've kept on the job. But it was the biggest point in the mock interviews what my school did. I had the work experience of working in the library, trusted with money, books, equipment, you know, like that. And it may sound like, ooh, this guy's a geek because he's working in the library. But that will get me the job ahead of someone maybe for, you know, jobs where you're trusted. So getting work experience not only educates you with the jobs and that and gets you used to the later life, but it also helps you into later life. So, you know, get some work experience done. Even if you're just doing chores around the house, get building all that up. It's just like your education. You've got education, your physical, and then you've got your experience. Build up your experience now instead of later. I am going off on one again, I know. Next. Number 6, using previous exam papers. Using past exam papers is one of the best ways to get used to the questions you have on your exams. Now, this is more for those preparing for the exams like me, and this is a very good technique for revising. Now, I know revising is one of the hard things. I'm using that word, I'm using it now as the negative way. Revising is a hard thing to do. You know, you never know what to do, and you always think of it negatively. Make sure, if you do want it, please comment down below, and I will do a separate sort of mini-series helping out all those people who need to prepare in different ways to do in preparations to your exams. Past papers is another great way, and it may not sound fun, but just think of the positives from it. I'm not a positive person. I'm gonna be honest, I'm always thinking of the negatives. And this, I've grabbed all the positives from it. You get used to the timings of the questions, you get used to the type of questions, how much you must write, and you also get a little nosy at what all the older kids used to do. I think of that. I actually think you're getting a nosy at what them older kids, what you always despised, what they had to do, and you can kind of test yourself if you know on these older people. But, you know, think of the positives out of past papers. Okay, it gets you used to it, and again, it gets your experience up. I've talked about this experience thing. I don't know, I like doing these columns. This experience, get that up on exam papers. Let's go next. Number 7, be aware of time. Being aware of timings. Now, timings is quite a mixed thing. For the start of, if you're starting school, that's just getting used to the timings of the school, when to go to lunch, you know, basic timings like that. Middle school is trying to get used to your lessons times, using your time wisely for things, but then it comes to preparation for exams. Timings is the worst word you can hear in exams. You've got time before the exam, preparation for your exam. That is a big one. But another thing is, through the exam, you've got times. You've got times when it starts. You've got times for the question. Just get used to timings and organise. This is the big word, organise your life. It sounds boring. I know it's boring, but it really does work. And of course, that helps with all the others, balancing everything. Timing. Think of that word as a multiple thing. You know, I could do a whole book about this. I could do a whole book. I'm just going to shut up. Number 8, try and get some more supportive friends. Trying to get supportive friends. Now, again, I'm not telling you to ditch all your football buddies or whatever the hell you are. I'm just saying, try and develop your friendship with some of them proper people who would probably help you. Now, proper people. I'm not saying go to the nearest geeky person, but not only do you have your friendship group, I'm not saying hang around, but you want to get with people who will all support each other through the exams, because this exam period can be a very stressful period, and if you go in alone, you know, you might break down on your own, or you might just thrive in it. But it's good to have friends, because you get the fire in your heart to go through it. And I'm going to be short and sweet. Getting supportive friends, you know, you feel better about yourself, because if you all fail, you all fail, but if you all pass, you all pass. You feel like you're part of a group, and this is just the way to go forward. But hey, it's your choice for that one. Number 9 is try and make your life easier for the future. Now, this is a long one. When doing work, try to come up with the simplest notes. Now, this again is to help with preparation. The big preparation. But doing things clearly is not only better for you, but it's better for people watching. Now, this is kind of just a little tip. So, think about you trying to revise or prepare when you're doing the work a couple of years before. You're going to look back at that and you might not know what the heck is happening. Now, this is linked to maths. You've always heard your teachers go, do your working out. And quite frankly, you know, you're like, no, I can do it in my head. Can you do it in your head in 5 years' time when you've forgotten how to do it? Getting that working out there, not only in the exam gives you marks if you do get the answer wrong, but it also gets you jogging on how to do that method. So think about your future life. Kind of think about it. You have to organise. It's a tough one to talk about. When doing work, try to get the clearest way. It's kind of worded weird, but when you're writing in your books while you're in, let's say, in the middle part of school, I've separated it into 3 sections. In the middle part of school, try to think, I'll be looking back at this. I want to understand it when I'm older. It's harder to do, but just think that in your mind when you're doodling on the side of the page. You want to help yourself when you're older to do the exams. This is your time to help yourself. And finally, at number 10, be positive. And the last note is be positive. Be positive about starting the biggest school, you're moving up in life. Be positive about the middle part, doing all the work, possibly to your highest, and getting to them exams. It's a race to the exams. I know it's the time is short, but please, be positive. Being negative gets you down into the stress. It gets you all into the stressful hell. And you don't want to go to the stressful hell, because if you stress, your work goes down and your life goes shit. Being positive, like me, I took all the positives out of revision. Just being positive gets you through. You might not like it. I hate doing the preparation for the exams, but I'm positive about it. I know this will help me in life. Doing all work experience, I don't particularly like all the time. Although, don't get me wrong, library's fun. But, you know, it helps you in life. So being positive is the best thing to do, and it makes you feel better. I'm going to shut up now, and you're going to be positive and subscribe. And that is it. Now, I might have gone off on a tangent, a word I very love today, because my maths teacher's just been moaning about tangents. But these really do help. I will love, this is one of them personal messages hitting at you, and you might be a bit young for the top schools, but think about it. just think about it into your life. These are really good tips, and I've just come up with them. There's plenty more. I would love to hear how you think of things, all in the comments. This is really one what I want to connect to you people there. How do you run with it? Maybe you could change things what I do. What do you agree with? All that, please, in the comments down below. I'll see you next week for a bit of a normal Fact Friday where we go back off a tangent, because I love tangents, and we will go back to the old facts. But this one, I really wanted to connect to. I hope you got it. Anyway, I will see you later. I've been Oliver Eaton. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.